Hi, there was just a magnitude 4.2 earthquake on the border between Oklahoma and Kansas. You may be thinking, that's sort of weird, an earthquake in Kansas? Most earthquakes are in places like California. That's because California is on the plate boundary. Most earthquakes occur on plate boundaries, not in the middle of tectonic plates. Kansas and most of the United States sits in the middle of the North American plate, so earthquakes aren't as common in these locations. They do happen in all 50 states, but they're just not as common. So, what's happening here? Well, let's take a look. I want to share my screen with you and show you this resource called the Iris Earthquake Browser. So, we're looking at the border between Kansas and Oklahoma. And what I'm going to do is show you a time lapse of videos or of earthquakes since 1993 to the present. So, all these little purple dots are earthquakes. That's what those are. We're going to start that now. Maybe. There we go. And you'll see little purple dots, which are earthquakes, start to pop up. There are a few here and there, and that's normal. There's earthquakes around, some more happening. We're moving through time, and now we're getting to 2014. Look at that increase in earthquakes. That's kind of cool, huh? So you can go and interrogate this yourself. This resource is free. You can just Google Iris Earthquake Browser and it'll come up for you. You can look at earthquakes all around the world. But what happened in 2013, 2014 to cause this major increase in earthquakes in this area? Something you've probably heard of. There's a process called fracking or hydraulic fracturing that's used by oil and gas companies to extract hydrocarbons. I'm having a hard time talking today. Hydrocarbons from the subsurface. So in some cases, you can drill down, and the oil or gas will be almost like in pockets, and it can be extracted. But it can also be trapped inside of rocks themselves. And so hydraulic fracturing is forcing water down into the subsurface to break up those rocks so that you can get the hydrocarbons out of the rocks when it's hiding in all the little spaces inside the rocks. And that can cause some small earthquakes. That's true. But the real culprit here is when that water's brought back up along with the hydrocarbons. You don't want that water with all the stuff in it, and so that wastewater is injected back down into the subsurface very deep, much deeper than where the hydrocarbons are being brought up. And if the geology is exactly right, if there's already faults that are there and other things, then this wastewater injection can actually cause these earthquakes. They're called induced earthquakes. And you can find a lot of research on this by organizations like the United States Geological Survey. So I encourage you to go and look that up. You can see the history of earthquakes in this area and learn more about hydraulic fracturing and wastewater injection. Something I also want to point out is that earthquakes can happen anywhere at any time. And so if you feel shaking from an earthquake, make sure you know what to do. Take protective action immediately. Drop down, take cover underneath a sturdy object, and hold on tight. If you're somewhere near the ocean, this isn't the case in Kansas, obviously, but if you are, make sure that you wait until all shaking has stopped and then move to higher ground just in case the earthquake could induce a tsunami. So if you're near the ocean, make sure that you recognize that the earthquake could be your natural tsunami warning. So again, if you ever feel shaking from an earthquake, no matter where you are in the US, drop down, take cover, and hold on. Thank you. For more information, again, go to usgs.gov to find this resource. You can go to iris.edu.